Hi Gary, nice to see we have another set of essays from you. Okay, it's one about shoes. That's fine. Do remember to include the image in your answer because a lot of times I refer to them in my corrections. So if you actually include it, just kind of copy and paste it into the file. It's really helpful. All right? So the bar graph. It's actually a bar chart. We call them line graph, pie chart, bar chart. So moving on. The bar chart shows the sales of two types of shoe in 9 different European countries in 2018. The sales of black or brown shoes are different in each country. Most countries have a balanced ratio between the sales for either brown or black leather shoes. However, Belgium is the only country with a dominance in black leather and only, I don't understand that entirely. So let me try it again. However, Belgium is the only country with a preference for black leather and only a small number of sales of brown leather shoes. Is this what you mean, perhaps? Maybe it is. Not as well as, so it should be additionally, Belgium has the lowest shoe sales and Hungary has the highest shoe sales in 2018. The bar graph shows that the highest black leather sales is in Hungary at 140,000. Can't use whereas here, it's incorrect. On the contrary, or in contrast, France has the lowest black leather sales at 30,000. The highest brown leather is in Poland at 130,000, and the lowest sales for brown leather is in Belgium at 10,000. Okay. Overall sales for the two types of shoes are fairly evened out in the 9 European countries, and only Belgium highly prefers one type of shoe over the other. Okay, so 165 words. All right, now you told us that there are 9 different countries, correct? Well, let's actually see if you told us what those 9 different countries are. So we have Belgium, then we have Hungary, and then we have France, and then we have Poland. So did I say Belgium? Yeah, okay. So we have 4 countries mentioned. So we have absolutely no information about those other 5 countries. All right, so that's the first thing. Then let's see where you actually included some data. We have data for Hungary and France and Poland and Belgium. So there's 18 pieces of data here. You mentioned 4 of them. Are you supposed to mention all 18? No, absolutely not. But having 4 pieces of data out of 18 really doesn't give an accurate representation of what you're looking at. More importantly, though, you've missed 5 of the countries. You didn't mention them at all. And so what is going to happen is this is going to give you a very low score for task achievement. So to show you what I mean, I wanted to bring up the band descriptors. It's the public version. Looking at task achievement, these are the bands along the side. Take a look at this. Does not cover all key features. All right? So that puts you at a band 4 for task achievement. Now, let's give you the benefit of the doubt and assume that it's not considered a key feature. It's just a detail. Or maybe you mentioned the key features, but not all of them. So look at this. Presents but inadequately covers key features. Okay? So any way you look at it, this is going to get you a really low task achievement score because you haven't mentioned, we don't know anything about these 5 countries. I don't even know their names. So that's going to be a problem. You at the very least have to mention the countries by name. You have to tell me something about them. I have to know at least remotely what it is that you're looking at. Okay, so to help you a little bit with how to do this task, I did pull it up. I wanted you to see it so we could look at it together. There are a ton of ways to do this. There's no question about that. There's not just one right way to do a task 1. But I did want to talk to you about some ways that I have found very helpful. First of all, like I said, you have to mention all 9 countries. You have to mention, of course, brown and black leather shoes. Also, what you have to do is, not you have to, but it's a good idea to use these numbers along the sides. They help you. They will help organize your answer. I'll explain to you what I mean. So, there are a couple of different ways to do this, as I said. One way to do it is to have one paragraph focusing on black leather shoes, and then another paragraph focusing on brown leather shoes. Let's say we did that. Let's say I will start with black leather shoes, because if you look at it, that's actually the highest number in our chart. Okay? So I could potentially start off by saying that the greatest sales of shoes in the 9 European countries occurred in Hungary at this number, whatever it is. Okay? Then, also above 100,000 sales for black shoes were Italy at this number and Belgium at this number. UK reached, or even just UK, at exactly 100. Then what I would probably do is I would talk about the countries that were between 50,000 and 100,000. I would group them together. I would say that Germany, Ireland, and Poland all had approximately 75,000 sales, and Holland just over 50,000 at around 60 or something. Then I would just mention really briefly that France had the least sales of black shoes at whatever number that is, 40,000 perhaps. Then I would go to my next paragraph and I would say, among the 9 countries, Poland had the greatest sales of brown leather shoes at whatever number this is. Maybe it's like 140. Okay? This was followed closely by Hungary, Germany, and Italy at X, Y, and Z numbers. Okay? You do it like that. Then again, talk about these 3 countries. Germany, France, and Germany, Holland, and France, that were all between 50 and 100,000 shoe sales. And then the only country that had less than 50,000 brown leather shoes were sold was Belgium, which was also the lowest number on the chart at 10,000 or whatever number that is. So this is how I would organize it. Okay? I don't mention absolutely every single piece of data. I do group things together, and grouping is really important here. So that's one way to do it. You could try it. Do you have to mention absolutely everything I talked about? No, but you do have to mention all the countries for sure. All right, let's move on now. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Olympics now. Let's see what you said here. Experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated whether the Olympics is important or no. How about this? Is or is no longer important in the 21st century. This essay will discuss both sides using examples from the UK government and Oxford University to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, fine, but remember they did ask you to say to what extent you agree, and you didn't do that. Okay, so that's also very important. You need to make your position known from the beginning of your essay. You should tell us that while I think this, I on the whole believe this, or I completely agree that the Olympics are no longer relevant. Something that shows us the answer to this question. Okay? On the one hand, there is ample evidence that the Olympics have brought an increase in demand for Olympic merchandise, merely by having a large global audience that continues to grow. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, players are sent to the Olympics representing their country. Okay, so what does that mean? Why would that make Olympic merchandise popular? You have to explain it to me. Don't just leave it there as an idea and then just move on. Secondly, corporations will be taking advantage of this global event, will be hiring designers to create merchandise. Careful with your spelling. Did you spell it right? No, you didn't. You wrote mechanize. To sell its global supporting audience. That doesn't make sense, global supporting audience. For example, recent empirical research by the UK government demonstrated that there has been a 10% increase in Olympic-related merchandise sales compared to the previous Olympics. It must not be forgotten that although the Olympics was hosted in Brazil, the Olympics... no, you have to use some cohesive devices here. So, they are a global event, or it is a global event, and sales for Olympic-related merchandise... Okay, you've now said Olympic-related merchandise several times. It's becoming a little repetitious, okay? Was a hot seller everywhere. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that the Olympics still has a large global audience, and the demand for Olympic merchandise, singular, remains strong. Okay, why is this important? So how is this telling us that, okay, great, so people want to buy Olympic merchandise. Does that mean that the Olympics are important? If there is a connection, you have to make it for us. Why are these two things linked? Are you trying to tell us that they boost the economy, that they, they promote sales, and it's just something? I mean, you have to explain to us what your point is here. You can't just assume that we understand, all right? On the other hand, although there is a case for the importance of the Olympics shown by the continuous growth of international audiences, the impact from the rise of esports cannot be overstated. This is largely because people who are born with the internet, play a lot of online sports, and this leads to a rising audience watching esport tournaments rather than watching the Olympic sports. For example, an extensive study by Oxford University showed that over 90% of Americans born in years between 1995 and 2000 watch esport tournaments. Consistent with this line of thinking is that a large number of people born in the eras with the internet has easier access to online sport on the computer than to go outside to play a physical sport. Thus, it's possible to state beyond doubt that some people born with the internet will continue to turn to online sports, and this will continue to grow. All right, so again, you have to really make some adjustments here to some of your grammar, some of the syntax here. Okay. From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that although the Olympics continues to show support from its audiences, the rise of esport games will become the new global tournament people will watch as people play on the internet more than outside. Full stop. It is predicted that the Olympics will slowly decrease in importance. Okay, fine. Let's see. All right, it's fine. You answered the question. The order of your paragraphs was correct. So all of it is fine. You have to be careful with some of your grammar. You have to be careful with some of your lexical resources. You had a lot of opportunities to create cohesive sentences, but you didn't, and the result was a lot of repetition. Like for example, Olympic merchandise. So it was just very repetitious. You have to find some way to either use cohesive devices, as I mentioned before, or use some different vocabulary. All right? Go ahead and correct these essays, return them back to us, and let's see your next set. Wish you lots of good luck.